addressing was that diabetes reversal is a question which is raised by the doctors and even the patients. And often it is said that if you go do exercise, do lifestyle modification, regulate your diet, your diabetes will be reversed. How much is it true? Let us see in the coming, say, about 30 to 40 minutes. These things I will try to answer. First of all, what does the Sushruta Nidan says? It says that Sarv evam pramehastu kalen apratikarana madhumehatvam ayanti tada asadhyata bhavanti hi. What does this mean? This Sanskrit slok, what does it mean? It says, सभी प्रकार के प्रमेह, that is abnormal discharge of albumin, sugar from the urine, यदि समय पर ठीक प्रकार से उपचारित न किए जाएं तो पूर्णतः मधुमेह में परिवर्तित होकर असाध्य हो जाते हैं. So this ancient wisdom of Ayurveda says that if you don't intervene at a proper time, that is at the stage of prameh, at the stage of pre-diabetes, at the stage when the person is starting developing the symptoms of metabolic syndrome, and once the person develops a full-fledged diabetes, it becomes incurable. You can manage it, but it becomes asadhya, incurable. This is what the ancient wisdom says. Even Ayurveda says that a fully established diabetes is incurable. So you cannot do reversal of an diabetes which is fully established, because that is asadhya. So what are those periods when we can intervene and it can become sadhya? Thus, the ideal period for reversal is a state of metabolic syndrome and pre-diabetes, before it becomes an established diabetes. This is the ancient wisdom, what it says. The Ayurveda says that Vyayam Aushadham. Today I will be talking about exercise. So Ayurveda also says that Vyayam is Aushadham. It is a medicine. Vyayam is medicine. Vyayam Sthirya Karanam. शरीर को स्थिरता देने में व्यायाम सर्वश्रेष्ठ है. So exercise stabilizes your body, it gives stability to your body, it gives stability to your internal milieu of the body. So it is very important to do exercise. What is the definition of exercise according to our ancient wisdom? शरीर चेष्टा या चेष्टा स्थैर्यार्थ बलवर्धनी देह व्याख्याम संख्याता मात्राया तम सम अचरेत. मीन्स शारीरिक श्रम जो स्थिरता और बल बढ़ाने वाला हो वह व्यायाम कहलाता है. अक्सर आप जब किसी से बात करेंगे पेशेंट से एक्सरसाइज के लिए, तो खास करके जो घर की महिलाएं हैं उनका एक ही कहना होता है, हम तो साहब दिन भर काम ही करते रहते हैं, हम तो अंदर बाहर होते रहते हैं, हम तो कभी बैठते ही नहीं. बट दैट इज नॉट एक्सरसाइज. जो स्थिरता और बल को बढ़ाने के ध्येय से किया जाए और समुचित मात्रा में किया जाए उसे ही व्यायाम कहते हैं. एंड व्हाट इज द मॉडर्न डेफिनेशन ऑफ एक्सरसाइज इन द मॉडर्न मेडिसिन? सेम, only the words are phrased differently. It says that exercise is a physical activity that is planned, structured and repetitive for the purpose of conditioning any part of the body. Exercise is used to improve health, maintain fitness and is important as a means of physical rehabilitation. So with that preamble, now how much to exercise? Again, this is a question often asked, how much to exercise? ये नहीं कि आप अनलिमिटेड मात्रा में एक्सरसाइज करेंगे तो वो हमेशा बेनिफिशियल होगा. मॉडर्न नॉलेज सेज that one should exercise to the 50 to 80% of target heart rate. And what is target heart rate? It is 220 minus age. So whatever your age is, reduce it from 220 and that is the target heart rate. And while doing exercise, you should try to achieve 50 to 80% of the target heart rate, not to the 100% of the target heart rate. Means जो भी आपकी शारीरिक क्षमता है उससे आधे पर आपको एक्सरसाइज करना चाहिए. और यही चीज सुश्रुत चिकित्सा में कही गई है कि वस्तुतः व्यायाम शरीर के बल के आधे तक ही करना चाहिए. इससे ज्यादा एक्सरसाइज करने पर इट बिकम्स हार्मफुल टू द बॉडी. So exercise and its role in diabetes reversal, the main thing is that there is no solitary long-term study on exercise alone. Whatever data I am going to present to you or share with you is all on lifestyle modification studies, in which exercise is an integral part of that lifestyle modification. Solely exercise studies are not there. There is a paucity of literature on that aspect. So I will be sharing some landmark studies on lifestyle modification which incorporated exercise and as an integral part of that study. Diet, exercise and weight loss. These are the three main integral parts of any lifestyle modification study. So I will be sharing the results of diabetes prevention program, an ongoing study, DPPOS, DPP and DPPOS done in US. This is a very large study. Another study which I will be sharing is the Dacheng study and the patients having IGT done in China. And then Finnish diabetes prevention study done in Finland. So in Diabetologia, a study was published which was done using ADA or WHO criteria for diagnosing pre-diabetes in post-menopausal women. And this was a 10-year-long follow-up study. This was a Swedish study, and the hypothesis and aim was to study the risk of women with impaired fasting glucose as against impaired glucose tolerance in developing diabetes. So, post-menopausal women, 265 in number, aging 55 to 57 years, were enrolled in this study. They were given OGTT test, and depending upon the OGTT test, they were divided into 4 groups. So one group was of those ladies who were only having impaired fasting glucose, but the glucose tolerance test was normal. The other was impaired glucose tolerance, but normal fasting glucose. The third was having both the IGT and IFG. And then the fourth group was normal fasting glucose and normal glucose tolerance. Means they were not having pre-diabetes or diabetes. After 10 years of follow-up, it was just a routine follow-up. No intervention was done. This was done just to see what is the rate of development of diabetes among different groups. And you will see that that group which had only impaired fasting glucose, about 12% of them developed diabetes in the 10-year follow-up. Those who were having impaired glucose tolerance, 12.1% developed diabetes. Having both IGT and IFG, 20% developed diabetes. So if a patient is having both IGT and IFG, the chances of converting into diabetes is high. Having only IFG or IGT, it is around about 12%. Having both, it becomes 20%. And those who were not having either IFG or IGT, it was 3.9% or 4%. So let us see this diabetes prevention program study. DPP, and this was again followed up as a diabetes prevention program ongoing study. It was started in 1996, and in 2001 the results were published. They divided the patients into 3 groups. The patients were having pre-diabetes, that is impaired fasting glucose or impaired glucose tolerance, and they were divided into 3 groups. One group was given placebo, and general instruction was given for lifestyle modification as we do in our clinic. The other group was given the same instructions with metformin, and the third group was the main interventional arm in which lifestyle change program was introduced, and it was a well planned, structured and observed program. All those patients who were enrolled in the lifestyle intervention arm, they were constantly monitored at least twice in a week. They were given free membership to gym to go and exercise. They were followed up whether they are doing their exercise or not, whether they are maintaining their diet or not, what is the weight record. So they were under continuous observation. The placebo group was just given instruction and nothing else, and metformin group was given instruction and metformin. Then in 2001 the result was published. In 2002 they were again divided into three groups. One group was given modified DPP lifestyle change program and self-management classes, but active intervention and supervision was withdrawn. The other group again modified DPP lifestyle change program plus metformin, and the third was modified DPP lifestyle change program. The placebo group was given only the lifestyle change program, and then they were followed up. Let us see the results. 27 centers nationwide in the US, they were involved in this study, and the pre-diabetics average age of 51 years with BMI 34, of which 68% were women, 45% minority participants were enrolled in this study, and other groups at high risk like age more than 60, women with history of GDM, first degree relative with diabetes, they were also enrolled in this study. Target was to achieve more than 7% body weight loss and to maintain that weight loss in the interventional arm. Dietary fat goal in the interventional arm was less than 25% of total calorie from fat, and the calorie intake was restricted between 1200 to 1800 kilocal per day, and at least 150 minutes of physical activity per week. And you can see in this slide that placebo 1082 patients, metformin 1073, lifestyle 1079. So it was all equally distributed in all the three arms. The upper, this graph is of the placebo with the years from randomization. At about 4 years the results were published. The risk reduction by metformin, this is the placebo. The risk reduction by metformin, this is the white graph, was 31% of developing diabetes in 4 years, and by lifestyle it was 58%. So lifestyle modification, active modification with full supervision gave much more risk reduction than the drug metformin. This was one very important message given by this study. Then this is the effect of treatment of incidence of diabetes. You can get incidence of diabetes percent per year. Placebo it was 11% per year, metformin 7.8, lifestyle 4.8. Reduction in incidence compared with placebo, metformin the reduction was 31% as compared to placebo and 58% as compared to placebo. And number needed to treat to prevent one case in 3 years. Placebo it was no data. Metformin, if you treat 13.9, that means 14 patients with metformin, you will prevent one patient developing diabetes in 3 years. But if you intervene with lifestyle modification, you need only 7 persons to be put in that lifestyle intervention group to prevent one patient developing diabetes. So the program worked particularly well for participants aged 60 and older. This is a very important take home message कि एक्सरसाइज के लिए या लाइफ स्टाइल मॉडिफिकेशन के लिए उम्र की कोई बाधा नहीं होती. No age is barred. The patients or the participants who were aged 60 or more, they had driven the maximum benefit out of this intervention, lowering their chances of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus by 71%. So overall it was 58%, but those who were having age 60 plus, they had 71% risk reduction of developing diabetes in the coming 3 to 4 years. So this is a very important take home message. So what is the summary of this study, DPP study? That intensive lifestyle intervention reduced the development of diabetes by 58%, metformin reduced the development of diabetes by 31%, and lifestyle was more effective than metformin. Now, the people who were conducting this study and the persons who were involved in this study, both of them they agreed to follow up this study for further period to have much more knowledge as to what happens when this active intervention is withdrawn in the coming ensuing years. So this was known as DPP ongoing study, outcome study, DPP outcome study. So the goal was that DPP participants, to see if participants who took part in DPP lifestyle change program or who are continuing to take metformin have a delay in the development of type 2 diabetes over time, and if they experience fewer health problems such as cancer, cardiovascular disease, nerve damage, kidney disease, eye disease, and age-related health problems such as trouble with physical function and difficulties with thinking or memory. That means senile dementia or Alzheimer's. So after 10 years, when the study was first published, then after 10 years of that study, after following up on the outcome study, it was seen that there was 34% delay in diabetes in lifestyle intervention group. So initially it was 58%, and after 10 years, still it was 34% delay in the lifestyle intervention group, and 4 years delay in development of diabetes compared to placebo group. Participants aged 60 years and above had a delay in development of diabetes by 49%. So still after 10 years of that intervention, the older population was reaping the benefits of that 3 to 4 years of active intervention. So this is very important. 18% delay in metformin group participants. So metformin group also showed delay, but it was not to the tune of active lifestyle modification. 2 years delay in development of diabetes in metformin group compared to placebo. So it was 4 years in the intervention arm, lifestyle modification arm, and 2 years in the metformin arm. So non-pharmacological measure of lifestyle modification proved to be better than metformin. Then they further followed it up for 15 years. Let's see the perseverance of these people. After 15 years, what was the result? 27% delay in diabetes in the lifestyle intervention group as compared to placebo, 18% delay in metformin group, 55% in lifestyle intervention, 56% in metformin developed diabetes compared to 62% in the placebo group. So with this, we conclude our results of the DPP and DPP-OS study, and now we come to the Daqing study, which was done in China. This was a diabetes prevention study done in China, and the results were published in 2014. This is also a very good study, though the number of participants were less. It started in 1986, enrolled 577. So instead of 3,000 or 4,000 individuals, it just enrolled 577 adults with impaired glucose tolerance in 33 clinics of the China, and randomly assigned to 4 groups. So they had made 4 groups. One group was given diet, the other was given exercise. So here we have got a group which was only doing exercise, and the third group was diet plus exercise, and the fourth group was no intervention. So now let us see what was the results. So primary outcome which was to be seen was the incidence of diabetes, death from any cause, and death from heart attack or stroke. So active intervention for 6 years until 1992 was done, either as a exercise, diet, or diet and exercise, and followed up to 2006. From 1992 to 2006 they were followed up. 51% lower incidence of diabetes in combined lifestyle intervention group. So in the lifestyle plus exercise combined intervention group, there was 51% lower incidence of diabetes. 23 years later, they followed up for 23 years. Patients were enrolled in 1986. First result came in, I told you, 1992, and then diet or exercise program for 6 years. Patients followed through 2009. And after 23 years, what was the result? Diet or exercise, 73%. Diabetes, no intervention, 90% of them, they developed diabetes. So there was overall 43% lower incidence over 23 years period with intervention, diet or exercise. So again, it shows that if we do exercise, it helps in preventing the patients going from IGT into frank diabetic zone. So, or in an indirect way, you can infer that it gives reversal of diabetes. It doesn't allow it to progress. So diabetes can be prevented even in people with pre-diabetes. You can take it as a reversal. Lifestyle intervention can reduce the risk of death from heart attack and stroke. This was seen in this study. And lifestyle intervention can prevent or delay diabetes for decades after the intervention program. So this is saying that diabetes can be prevented even in people with pre-diabetes. So group-based lifestyle intervention over 6 years can prevent or delay diabetes for up to 14 years after the active intervention. This is what we call it as metabolic memory or metabolic legacy or the karma effect. Whatever karma you are doing to your body, that is imprinted metabolically on the metabolic system of your body, and that is carried over for decades together to give you either protection, or if you are following a bad lifestyle, giving a deleterious outcome. So it depends upon the individual what lifestyle he or she wants to pursue or follow. This is the diabetes Finnish diabetes prevention study. It was an intervention study of lifestyle for 3 years on diet and physical activity. The inclusion criteria was persons aged 40 to 64 years, BMI more than 25, having IGT. And this study was conducted from 1993 to 1998. Total participants here again 500 plus 522. Recruitment started in 93 and continued up to 1998. The study was prematurely terminated in 2000, seeing the beneficial outcome in the intervention arm. So in between the interim meeting of the investigators, when they saw that the intervention arm is showing a very good statistically significant outcome, the study was prematurely terminated. That why to not allow the other control arm to give the same benefits for the health in those groups. So it was prematurely terminated in 2000. What was the result of this Finnish diabetes prevention study? Weight loss at 1 year was 4.5 kg in the intervention arm compared to 1 kg in the placebo. At 4 years, 3 kg versus 0.9 kg. And overall, you will see here that there was 58% risk reduction for developing diabetes. In 4 years of the intervention, the risk reduction for developing diabetes was 58%, which is very good. So exercise does help. And then it was extended phase was done. After completion of the study, participants were followed up for further 3 years. So the total duration became 7 years. 4 years, then 3 years, total 7 years. And what was the result after 7 years? From 58, after 7 years, 43% risk reduction persisted even after 7 years in the intervention arm in developing diabetes. So that is the effect of metabolic karma. This is the Indian diabetes prevention study, one Indian study in which only 133 subjects were enrolled and were followed for 30 months on intense lifestyle modification, and this showed 28% reduction in progression to diabetes. What was most important finding of all this study was that the weight reduction was found to be the most important element in this risk reduction. The thing which helped in reducing the risk of people having IGT, IFG or both combined IGT, IFG progressing to diabetes over the coming years, the weight reduction and that of the visceral adiposity, the central adiposity, was the main factor which contributed to this risk reduction with diet and lifestyle modification and exercise. So this is very important. Any person who is having central obesity, having tummy, should always aim to reduce that, cut off that tummy, because that is the epicenter for developing metabolic syndrome, for developing hypercholesteremia, for developing dyslipidemia, for developing insulin resistance, and developing atherosclerotic vascular disease. So this is the epicenter. Just like in the earthquake, the diabetes epicenter lies here in our tummy. If you remove this fat, excess fat, that epicenter is gone. This is very important. So now the question is diabetes reversal exercise. How long it works in mission of reversal? We have seen that it works, but how long? How long? Let us see. Compare the three studies we have just discussed in a nutshell. DPP and DPP OS study. It was initially done for 3 years, and then the active intervention was withdrawn. First, patients followed up for 10 years and then 15 years. Daching, 6-year intensive intervention, then followed for 23 years. Finished diabetes intensive phase 4 years, and then followed up for 7 years. So even if you intervene actively for 3 years or for 6 years or for 4 years, does this active intervention of a short duration of 3 to 6 years gives a long-term benefit in diabetes reversal or progression of IGT, IgG to diabetes? Let us see. So here you will see that in the DPP, DPPOS, after the initial presentation, 58% risk reduction. After 10 years, it persisted 34%. And even after 15 years, there was 27% risk reduction. So initial 4 years of active intervention can give prevention and protection for coming 20 years, more than that. Daching study, initial 51% risk reduction, and after 23 years, it persisted to 43%. Finished diabetes prevention study, 58%, and after 7 years, still there was 43% of risk reduction. So it works, and works for a very pretty long duration. And it works much better in those who are 60 plus. So this is the, you can say, a diagrammatic representation. How does this exercise, diet and lifestyle modification helps to modulate our diabetes progression? So this is the graph A, shows that this is the usual course. This is the number of years, and this is the progression to diabetes. So person develops IGT, IFG, metabolic syndrome, and then it progresses like this with the coming years. There is underlying loss of beta cell function, beta cell mass, beta cell defect. There is insulin resistance. There is increase in lipid level. There is glucotoxicity, lipotoxicity, endothelial stress on the beta cell, and all this leads to derailed beta cell function, and rapidly the diabetes progresses. If from the very start of the diagnosis of IGT, IFG, that is the pre-diabetic state, the person starts active lifestyle intervention, exercise, diet, and then the graph becomes like this. It doesn't go like steep like this. It becomes slow. The progression becomes slow. Conversion to diabetes becomes slow. And once you stop it, as it was done in these studies, that after 3 years, 4 years, it was stopped, even then there is legacy effect. It doesn't go up like this, but it is slowed for few years, and then it starts rising again, but the benefit persists. So the take-home message is that after 3 or 4 years of active intervention, because it was a structured study, so they could not continue it for indefinite time, but it does give us a message that in our day-to-day life, if we keep on continuing that intervention throughout our life, once we have developed metabolic syndrome, IGT, IFG, and we do lifestyle modification and continue to do it like this, we will not develop diabetes and it will not progress. So this is very important, that once you develop central obesity, you develop metabolic syndrome features, you develop dyslipidemia, you develop IFG, IGT, start doing lifestyle modification and stick to it. Do it continuously. Don't withdraw it, and reap the benefit throughout the rest of your life. It will not allow the pre-diabetes to progress to diabetes, or in indirect way, it will help in diabetes reversal. You will not need drugs. And if you are not needing drug, it is a diabetes reversal. But when it will act, it will only act when you have started your efforts here at the very beginning when IGT IFG has started. You have started to intervene here or here when the blood sugar has gone to 340, 400, HbA1c 10. Then from here you can start the benefit, and then you can do like this. So what the Ayurvedic old dictum says, that once it is established diabetes, it becomes asadhya. So before it becomes asadhya, you have been diagnosed to have pre-diabetes, implement at that time the lifestyle modification exercise, and then you will be free of drugs for a pretty long duration. So work out to keep diabetes out. That is the message, because it does help you to prevent progression of diabetes. Thank you so much. And with this, I end my presentation. And now it is open for question answer session and discussions. Stop sharing. Thank you very much. Hello, the Olympic people, can you now take up the questions or unmute the people so that they can directly communicate to me?
Doctors, please unmute yourself and you can ask the questions directly to Dr. Gupta.
Yes, I have a question, Dr. Alok.
Yeah, Dr. Bhuvnesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, there are, you quoted firstly 3 studies.
Yeah.
And one was Chinese study. In that, in one portion, you had mentioned about diet or exercise.
Yeah, but for what you want to ask, I am coming to that. I can smell it. Whole study I went through the paper, but exclusively what was the result of exercise alone they have not mentioned. They put it under the category exercise and diet. So I also tried to search that the result of only exercise arm, but I could not get it. Probably this is the question that you wanted to ask. I'm guessing it correct.
But possibly there's possibly a gap between their study.
Yeah.
My second question is that since now yoga has become an internationally acknowledged way of doing, changing the lifestyle. So, is there any study which has been conducted as part of?
मॉडल भी चालू है, सर्वर पे काम करेंगे, अगर वो लोग आएंगे तो मंडे को पूरा दिन.
Somebody else is also talking, so I'm not able to.
So has any study been conducted on diabetes prevention program? For the role of yoga and pranayama.
No, not specific with yoga. It is combined exercise program, not specific yoga and pranayama. No.
Because yoga does not stress upon the physical exercise. The types of exercises: isotonic, isometric, isokinetic.
Usually we advise combination of exercise. Some building exercise, some stretching exercise,
stretching. We need to, conduct some study on finding out the effects of our age-old system of lifestyle modification of yoga and pranayama.
It can be done, and I am sure it will give you a fruitful and beneficial results. If you do any sort of exercise, yoga or stretching or asana, pranayam in a pre-diabetic who is doing it regularly, he is going to gain the benefit.
Then definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tomorrow morning we are having a session on exercise.
Pardon?
Tomorrow morning, the first Sunday.
Okay.
I have sent the link to you.
Okay.
I'm reminding it to you.
17 साल के हो बता नहीं सकते हो तुम अपना तकलीफ.
Anybody else? Is there any question in the chat?
Any other questions, doctors? Please unmute yourself and ask doctor.
One thing I would
good evening.
like to emphasize is that indulging in over exercise. नए लोग जब एक्सरसाइज का शौक चढ़ता है तो जिम ज्वाइन किया, ये ज्वाइन किया, वो ज्वाइन किया. and they indulge in over exercise. If you are doing over exercise, it has been always mentioned in our ancient शास्त्र, I have not, एक तो शरीर के बल का आधा करना चाहिए और कभी भी उसका अतिक्रमण नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर आप अतिक्रमण करते हैं अपने शारीरिक क्षमता का, तो इंस्टेड ऑफ डूइंग गुड टू योर बॉडी यू डू हार्म टू योर बॉडी. लिखा हुआ है शास्त्रों में कि शरीर का क्षय होने लगता है, बजाय बलवर्धनी होने के वो क्षय आपको शरीर को प्रदान करती है. तो आप बहुत अधिक अपने आप को थकाइए मत, बहुत अधिक मसल बिल्डिंग के चक्कर में और प्रोटीन और एक्स्ट्रा प्रोटीन और कुछ ड्रग्स और ये वो, दिस विल हार्म द बॉडी. सो डू इट एज पर योर एज, एज पर योर रिकमेंडेशन, as per your health status, whether you are having diabetic retinopathy or you are having osteoarthritis or you are having some diabetic foot, what is your cardiac status, take all these things into consideration whenever you are going to start exercise if you are never indulged in it, and then plan your exercise according to your body status and never go in excess of that.
There have been cases where people have collapsed either on the treadmill or immediately after that.
Yeah.
So there are one needs to know where is the limit of tolerance, and limit of tolerance should never be crossed. Rather, one should step much before that. That is very important. Secondly, isometric exercises should be avoided. Weight trainings and all should not be done.
Mild ones.
Mild one can do. I mean, some ones and all, but weight training should be avoided. Because they break the tissue. And tissues, once they get broken, they alter the metabolism of the body.
अतिक्रमण का जो शास्त्रों में मैंने पढ़ा है, वो श्लोक पढ़ा नहीं, उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि जब हृदय की वायु आपके मुंह से निकलने लगे, यानी आप हांफने लगे, तो समझ जाइए कि आप अतिक्रमण कर रहे हैं अपनी क्षमता का.
बिल्कुल सही बात.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Prakashan Shahi.
Shahi, good evening. Good evening.
Sir, if I'm doing my exercise to a level of my maximum heart rate, so if I'm not getting हाफने नहीं लगता हूँ, तो इसमें क्या मतलब कुछ बुरा है? अगर मैं कंफर्टेबल हूँ तो मुझे करना चाहिए मैक्सिमम हार्ट रेट तक.
देखिए, आप तो कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट हैं. It has been always advised by the modern evidence also that you should try to achieve 50% of your target heart rate if you are doing it for your maintaining your health. And if you are going for any competitive event, आप 100 मीटर डैश रेस में जा रहे हैं, 400 मीटर रेस में जा रहे हैं, आप किसी भी कॉम्पिटिटिव इवेंट में जा रहे हैं, then you can go up to 80% of your target heart rate. 50 to 80% दिया गया. It is not that you go for 100% of your target heart rate.
So practically, sir, we are not.
I hope that being a cardiologist, you will give a much more better answer than me.
Yes, sir. Better. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, what happens, with intensive exercises, it has been shown that there is increased risk of atrial fibrillation also.
Yeah.
So it is always advisable to limit your exercise to up to the target heart rate. But at times we are doing our exercises, we are not calculating our heart rate at times.
Yeah.
And should we measure our heart rate regularly if we are crossing our limit? What is your recommendation?
That can only be done when you are doing on some sophisticated gadget like treadmill, having all those gadgets where your pulse is being checked, that what is your heart rate going on. Otherwise, if you are running on a track or doing some exercise, it is not easy to monitor your heart rate. Or you can wear a gadget which in your wrist or which can measure your heart rate. That is, otherwise, simple clue is that if while doing any exercise you are not able to talk comfortably to your fellow who is standing beside you, you are breathless, then it means you are crossing your limits. आपको अपने बगल में आपके साथ कोई चल रहा है, कोई दौड़ रहा है, आप उसके साथ अगर आराम से बात कर लेते हैं, then it is okay. अगर हाफते रहते हैं, you are crossing your limit without measuring your pulse rate.
Sir, Dr. Ali.
Dr. S.K. Tripathi, any comment from you? You are a gym
हाँ सर, यस सर, मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
You are a gym lover.
यस सर, मेरा ये कहना है सर कि जो अभी आप लोगों ने बात कही, आपने बहुत अच्छा टॉक दिया, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस. मेरा ये कहना है कि सर एक्सरसाइज इज ए डिफरेंट साइंस. अगर हम एक्सरसाइज जो अभी बात आ रही थी कि सांस फूलने लगती है, वो लिमिट नहीं क्रॉस करना है, मैं इसको बिलीव नहीं करता हूं। अगर एक्सरसाइज हम किसी सुपरविजन में कर रहे हैं और गार्डेड वे में कर रहे हैं और ग्रेजुअली इंक्रीज करते हैं अपनी कैपेसिटी को, स्टेमिना को, तो इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आती है। सांस फूलना का मतलब उसको एनएरोबिक एक्सरसाइज हम लोग बोलते हैं। आपकी जो मसल को एनर्जी मिल रही है, बजाय ऑक्सीजन लेवल आप जो इनहेल कर रहे हैं और एनर्जी एटीपी डायरेक्ट मसल के अंदर ही जो है मेटाबॉलिज्म होके एटीपी डायरेक्ट एनर्जी मिल रही है, तो उससे क्या होता है कि लैक्टिक एसिड कलेक्शन होता है, वो एनएरोबिक एक्सरसाइज होती है। तो उसमें सांस आपकी फूलेगी क्योंकि ऑक्सीजन लेवल प्रॉपर नहीं मिल पा रहा है मसल को, बट दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड, जैसा कि उनका साइंस कहता है। जो एक्सरसाइज की जो साइंस है उसमें ये कहता है कि दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड अप टू लिमिट।
मैं थोड़ा सा डिफर करूंगा, जब भी आप एनारोबिक एक्सरसाइज करते हैं,
जी,
लाइक डूइंग आइसोमेट्रिक एक्सरसाइजेस, दोज आर द एनारोबिक एक्सरसाइज, या आप एकदम से आपने 100 मीटर का रेस लगा दिया 10 सेकंड के अंदर,
हाँ,
उसमें भी इतना मौका नहीं मिलता आपके बॉडी सिस्टम को कि आपके ब्लड फ्लो बढ़ा दे।
जी,
पहले की ब्लड फ्लो बढ़े, आपने काम खत्म कर लिया।
नहीं तो सर उसको वही मेरा ही कहना है,
वॉट एवर द एनर्जी ग्लाइकोजन इज स्टोर्ड इन द मसल एंड
Yes.
फैटी एसिड्स,
यस,
they are metabolized, and
Correct.
fatty acid is metabolized and glycogen is broken down, and
Correct.
that produces lactic acid,
करेक्ट,
and that causes muscle pain later on.
Yes,
इसलिए
yes.
आदमी जब कोई अभ्यस्त नहीं है और एक
जी।
दिन में उसने 100 दंड बैठक मार दिए, तो
वो
दूसरे
pain.
दिन वो टट्टी करने भी नहीं बैठ पाता, उसके
चल नहीं पाएगा, ही कांट वॉक।
सीवियर पेन होता है मसल में,
बिल्कुल।
accumulation of that lactic acid.
यस, उसको बोलते हैं सर।
आप अगर आप सिर्फ बेंच प्रेस कर रहे हैं, डंबल कर रहे हैं, इस तरह एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं, तो उससे आप हाफेंगे नहीं। हाफेंगे
Yes.
तो आप सब आइसोमेट्रिक में, जब आप तेजी से दौड़ गए,
हाँ,
आप उसमें हाफ जाएंगे। अदरवाइज आप खाली आइसोमेट्रिक में आदमी जल्दी हाफता नहीं है।
Yes,
हाफता
sir.
तभी है जब वो कार्डियो करता है और जरूरत से ज्यादा करता है, तेजी से।
बिल्कुल सर, वही मैंने कहा कि एक्सरसाइज जो है एक कंप्लीट साइंस है,
हाँ।
और उसको प्लान्ड वे में करना होगा, अपने नहीं हैप्चर्ड नहीं कि कभी दौड़ लिया।
देखो मैंने डेफिनेशन में कहा था, इट इज प्लान्ड, स्ट्रक्चर्ड,
Yes.
रिपीटेटिव।
यस,
3 टर्म्स
यस,
किए हैं मैंने।
बिल्कुल सही। और इसमें डरने, जो आपने कहा ना सर कि एज के कोई मतलब नहीं, आपने कोई स्टडी बताई है कि उसमें जो 60 के ऊपर वाले लोगों ने भी स्टार्ट किया।
65 साल वाला आदमी उस स्ट्रेंथ पे करना शुरू करते, 35 साल
नहीं,
को देख के
उस स्ट्रेंथ नहीं उस स्ट्रेंथ नहीं करे, लेकिन ग्रेजुअली अगर बिल्डअप करता है, अपनी लाइफस्टाइल मॉडिफाई करता है, डाइट में रेगुलेशन करता है, तो वो भी अचीव करता है सर।
बिल्कुल
करता है, बट इट विल टेक टाइम, लेकिन ये किया था।
इट इज टू बी डन ग्रेजुअली।
यस, और एक्सरसाइज कंप्लीट साइंस है, हम लोग की थोड़ी सी मेडिसिन से अलग है, इसलिए हम लोग को लगता है कि हमें ज्यादा नॉलेज है, एक्सरसाइज वाले को कम नॉलेज है, लेकिन हमको लगता है कि एक्सरसाइज जो मास्टर आदमी है उससे हम लोग को सीखना चाहिए। वो एकदम साइंटिफिक चीज है, एकदम साइंटिफिक चीज है सर, कहीं से कोई इसमें एविडेंस बेस्ड है एक्सरसाइज का भी चीज है। थैंक यू सर।
चलिए, तो मैंने कहा कि आज एकदम नॉन कन्वेंशनल टॉपिक में मैं बोलूं आप लोगों के सामने।
बहुत बढ़िया रहा सर, बहुत बढ़िया, एक्सेलेंट,
नहीं होगी,
एक्सेलेंट।
जो हमारे जीवन का एक अभिन्न हिस्सा है और हम लोग उसको कभी फॉलो नहीं करते,
यस,
है ना, और बाद में कहते हैं कि साहब हर चीज दवा से ही होनी चाहिए।
बिल्कुल सर।
Very nice topic, Dr. Alok.
है
Very nice topic. Nice topic.
थैंक यू सर।
Nicely presented. And my compliments, Dr. Tripathi, also to, give
Dr.
right.
Tripathi is an orthopedic surgeon and he and his wife both are gym freak.
Okay. Bilkul, exercise is a science.
Yeah.
Basically, I'd like to just contribute also. We have
Yes, sir.
got certain things, a schedule of exercises in armed forces, which is called tables.
यस
So,
सर,
one after the other tables are adopted. Table number 1, table number 2. So accordingly, gradually they are adopted. It's a good science. And if it is adopted properly,
Yeah.
and second point is that going out of breath is not the criteria. Going out of breath, you can go, in different settings with less exercise, and you may overstretch also sometimes. So basically, one has to be very, very watchful about his own heart function.
Yes.
And the moment one feels that there is something which is stressing in his chest, he should stop. Out of breath is very, subjective. Very subjective, because some people may not go out of breath or may not feel breathless. They may not be having an opportunity to talk to somebody. But chest, constriction in chest is the one aspect.
Constriction,
Yeah,
all those, yeah.
feeling of constriction is very, very important.
Okay, then it is over to Alembic people to conclude.
थैंक यू सर, नाइस टॉक।
Thank you so much. मुझे अच्छा लगा कि आप जुड़े।
बिल्कुल सर। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir. Dr. Alok.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Dr. Sanjeev.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a nice talk. I just want to know one thing, that exercise lifestyle modification in this pandemic times, what do you suggest, sir, to the patients? Like the diabetic patients, if they go for exercise outside now with this pandemic on, and diabetic being a big comorbidity, as we all know. So would you advocate the patients to go for a walk in the morning? Would
I
they be
advise
allowed
them-
to go?
Yeah, Sanjeev. Going out of home or in a public place, I strongly de-recommend it. I do not recommend them.
Yeah, I agree with you, sir. And you know Varanasi, how Varanasi is.
If you have do not have enough space around your home, you can go to your roof. You can walk there, continue.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And even if you are going on the roof, use your shoes. Go on the roof as if, or in your lawn, as if you are going to the place which you used to go to walk, in the park or any place else, so that you have the feel that I am walking, not with the slippers on or with barefoot. Be dressed up as you are going to walk.
So, doctor,
Take your shoes and go to the rooftop or onto your lawn. Walk. Do some stretching exercise in your home, like asanas, and that is sufficient enough. But don't stop it.
And sir, now we have lot of gadgets, like we have the Apple Watch, which has got a health app on it. We have Fitbit. Fitbit is also there.
Even in the mobile, they are giving.
Yeah, in the mobile you have. So even in the house, if you walk or if you plan, like if the patient is affordable, they can plan for a TMT at home only and can do. Because doing exercise in a diabetic patient, because the chances of getting silent MI is very high in these patients. So they should at least know their effort tolerance before we advise them some vigorous exercise.
Before any intense exercise.
Yeah, before any exercise, like some people, like they take it कि भाई walk करना है, हमको पसीना आना चाहिए, तब we stop the walking. Brisk walking we have to do. So what I feel, that as they are at a high risk, they should be first assessed properly by a TMT or something, and they should know their effort tolerance, and they should know when they are exercising that when to stop. Like sometimes they are overzealous. They think, okay, lifestyle modification, they don't understand that it's a very, very, very difficult. Even we doctors, we are doctors, we hesitate sometimes. We know that we have to exercise, but we don't. So to make a patient understand that lifestyle modification, that is your exercise, your diet, your habit, your sleeping habit, I think these are, and in this pandemic times, what we are seeing the patients, they are very apprehensive. Even our diabetic patients are very stressed out.
Yeah.
Jobs are going, job losses are going, and they are very stressed. What will happen to their children next day? What will happen to them? The way this pandemic is spreading, and the main comorbidity at our center, what we are seeing is diabetes. And then we give, we have to stop the cytochrome storm. So we have to give methylprednisolone to the patient. And diabetes, methylprednisolone is like fuel in fire. It's like fuel in fire.
Yeah.
The blood sugar just shoots like anything, what we are seeing.
Yeah.
It shoots up like anything. Even we have seen young patients, their parents come and tell us, sometimes they get to know their blood sugar. अरे डॉक्टर साहब, आपके यहाँ आने से पहले तो इसको ब्लड शुगर कभी था ही नहीं, अब इसका 300-400 ब्लड शुगर हो रहा है.
Lot of paper has
Because
come
they are
on
stressed
news
out.
Diabetes in COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what we are seeing, we have got 400 patients right now, sir, 400s, and we have got about almost 100 patients in it. I am in Heritage Medical College, sir. I am a professor there right now. Plus I have my clinic also. in HIMS, Badwar, Heritage Institute of Medical Sciences.
Heritage Institute of Medical. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a COVID dedicated hospital.
Yeah.
So we are getting, and it's really scary. The persons who have not seen COVID, like for the way we are seeing COVID, florid COVID, patient coming with a SpO2 of 70%, HRCT thorax is showing totally riddled lungs, hardly 25 functioning of the lung is there. And in this, on top of it, they have diabetes, chances of secondary infection is there. So we are getting procalcitonin also on these patients. And their counts are always on the lower side. So it's a very, very, like in this pandemic, managing diabetes with lifestyle modification, it's really difficult. Like I also see my patients in my clinic, I just screen them first, or I give them a virtual consultation on my mobile. I don't call them because you don't know who is COVID positive or not.
Definitely.
I've been seeing a lot of senior colleagues of mine who have been involved with the patients and landed up with COVID. They are on my treatment.
Yeah.
They've landed up with COVID.
Same situation
So-
at Gorakhpur also.
Yeah, and sir, it's a really scary scene. Like you cannot allow anybody to come. You have to lock. They don't wear masks. Like the way the lockdown has opened, they think it's a mela. You know, they are just preparing for the Dashara Mela.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for
They're
sharing
just
your
they
views.
are
मैं
just
बस एक चीज अंत में ये कहना चाहूंगा सभी को कि एक्सरसाइज इज 90% मेंटल 10% फिजिकल.
yeah, definitely. I agree with you, sir, on this.
मेंटल आपका
Peace नहीं है.
एक्सरसाइज करने का, तो वो ट्रेडमिल मशीन बहुत महंगा टावल स्टैंड साबित होता है. वो स्टैंड
कपड़े सूखते हैं उसमें.
कपड़े सुखाने के काम आते हैं घर में.
कपड़े सुखाने के काम आते हैं सर.
इसलिए 90% is your mental effort. Once you overcome that mental inertia, then 10% is your physical involvement. You can do it. That is the main thing. And with this, I thank all of you and thank the Olympic people for this opportunity for me to.
Thank you, sir. Very nice presentation, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. That was a wonderful presentation. And thank you very much for enlightening us. And we've had a very fruitful discussion also. We look forward for more such sessions in the future. And as you said that, we are totally focused on the academics of it. So we are not specific on any product or any, which is, relevant for us. So we'd love to have such more sessions from you in the future. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.